Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Napenda. If you are tuned in today, you're going to be seeing how I achieved this look using a full face of drugstore and affordable makeup. I wanted to show you guys what it was going to look like in the end so you have something to look forward to. Make sure you go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. Let's get into it. So I'm going in with this Perception palette from ColourPop and Makeup Shayla. And the first shade that I'm applying onto my lids is the color Thick, or the shade Thick, which is the orange. Oranges are really pretty transition shades. I feel like you can use them for any look when it comes to just applying your color as a base. And I'm taking a fluffy brush once I've already placed the color, and I'm blending it from left to right just so that it can be more blown out. Once I feel like it is blown out enough, I'm going to go ahead and add on a second layer of a different color. This shade is called Played Out. Because I have hooded lids, whenever it comes to any shadow that I apply, I can't just put it on my lid itself. I have to go up a little higher. So that's what you see me doing here. And then once I've gone high enough, I'm going back in with the same brush that I used to blend out Thick, to blend out the edges, so just so that I don't lose the orange from it. Then I'm going in with Sassy, which is kind of like a bluish green shade. And I'm just applying this on my lid. I didn't want to do a cut crease just because I feel like whenever it comes to beginners with makeup, nobody's trying to cut a crease. You just want to learn how to put shadows on. So that's what I'm doing here. I wanted to add a darker shade to it. So at first I started going in, with a little bit of the shade Stallion, which is kind of like a blackish shade. And I was just placing it on the edges. Then I was like, you know what? Let me just, go hard or go home. So I went and I placed it all over my lid, and I kind of mixed it in with that shade Sassy to give me almost like this dark greenish smoky eye. Now, whenever you apply any type of shade, you don't want to lose the colors you originally placed on your lid. So eyeshadow is kind of like a game. You're going back and forth between different shades. So I just went back in with Thick to make sure that I didn't lose the orange. Now, on my actual lid itself, I'm going in with the shade IE, which is the green. And I tried to do it with my fingers first. And then as you see, I just went ahead and used the brush. These lashes are from AliExpress. They're about $2, and I'm going to put the link at the top where you can find them. Before I apply my lashes, I have been using the Colossal Big Shot Mascara, which you guys should have seen in my favorites. I love this mascara, and it's super affordable. And I'm just making sure that I coat my lashes, and then I'm going to take my tweezers in order to apply my lash. One thing I would say is that you really want to make sure you get a good grip on the lash when you're trying to place it on, just so that it gets on there the first time you place it and you have no issues with it. Once I get it, I make sure I tighten the outer corners, and then I go and tighten the center, and then you're going to see me go in and tighten the inner corner just so that I know my lash is placed on and it's secured and it's not going to go anywhere when the wind blows. Now I'm applying my Marc Jacobs highliner or eyeliner in the shade Black Her. This is my favorite under eye eyeliner, and I have sensitive eyes, so I always have to go in with that shade. And I just looked to make sure it was blended, and it was. Let's get into the face now. Okay, so I know I said it was going to be drugstore and affordable, and I kind of cheated. But y'all know right now I am living for the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. But guess what? I just ordered the ELF Putty Primer, which is supposed to be an alternative dupe. And I didn't just get one for me, I got one for one of you. So make sure you go ahead and comment, and that will be today's giveaway. It's the ELF Putty Primer, which is currently sold out. And I knew that once they came out with it, people were going to buy it. So I made sure I bought two so that I could have one for me and one for you. So now I'm going in with my NYX Total Control Foundation. And this is in the shade Chestnut. Now, if y'all watch any tutorials on Instagram, or you watch any of my tutorials on Instagram, you know that when this foundation first came out, especially because of the way that it dropped onto the face, it gave this, dramatic vibe. Everybody was kind of like putting it on like tears on their face. So I did that. For this foundation, I love the way that it blends out. Just look at how seamless and how satin-like and almost skin-like it looks when I am blending it. I'm just using a brush that I got from Sephora for their, it's like when you become a VIB Rouge, but you can use any brush that you want. You can use a buffing brush. This brush is definitely more loose just because of the makeup of the foundation. And then whenever I apply any foundation, no matter what, I always go over it with my beauty blender just to blend it out and make sure that there's no additional spots missing. Something I love to do is whenever I do my makeup, I love to look from left to right just to see what the difference is between the style with foundation and the style without foundation, just because I feel like people love to comment about foundation is not matching, but I match my foundation to my chest and not to my face and neck. But no matter what, most times whenever I apply my foundation and it dries down, it literally looks just like my skin, which is why I always love to do the comparison just to, you know, show people. I know it can go on looking orange, it can go on looking a little light, but once it's blended out, it is going to be just fine, okay? Just fine. So don't come for me, don't clock me, I'll provide the proof. Once it is completely blended out, I am going to go in with my favorite concealer, which is the Makeup Revolution Concealer in C16. And I'm just applying this on the high points of my face, the high points of my nose or the bridge of my nose, underneath my chin, over my forehead, over my lips, everywhere almost. And when I was watching this footage back, I was like, okay, sis, like, you went a little too ham with the concealer. And then I went even more ham and I used the Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer in the shade Hazelnut, which is a little too light. And to be honest, if I could do this over, I would blend out the Makeup Revolution Concealer first and then just go in with a little bit of the Maybelline one, which is what I usually do. But a lot of times when I start filming, I get too excited and I just do things that I would not normally do, which I always end up regretting. But I made it blend and I made it work no matter what. So I'm just going in with my beauty blender and blending in that concealer or blending in those concealers. And in my beginner's makeup video, I will be showing you guys how to blend with a beauty blender, because to be honest, when I first started blending, I did not know how to do it and I would always have patches on my skin, which I no longer have. So definitely stay tuned for that. Once everything is blended, I am going to go ahead and get started with my contour. I'm trying to look cute for y'all, but for my contour, I'm using the Glamazon Beauty Contour Stick in the shade 12. Just look at how that glides on. Like, come on. It is so beautiful, and wait till you guys see me start to blend it. So whenever it comes to contour, I put it on the perimeter of my forehead and on the, like, my high cheekbones. And then I was using this brush just because, to be honest, all of my brushes were dirty, but I typically would use something that's more tapered. And when I blend, I typically blend going upwards, kind of like circles and going upwards at the same time, just so that it can look more seamless. I was listening to a song, so I wasn't talking to myself. I was mouthing the words. Excuse the motorcycle. I live in New York. You always gonna hear noises in the background. I've gotten over it. So once I've blended it all the way out, as you guys see, that Glamazon Beauty foundation stick just makes your skin look so seamless. I'm gonna go back to my under eye area and I mixed two powders. So this Maybelline setting powder in the shade 35 is a little too like gray tone. So I mixed Topaz from Ben Nye, which is very, very orange. And I mixed those two together just to get my perfect under eye highlighting shade. So I'm just going to press it into my skin. And if you guys are not new to my channel, then you know that I don't necessarily bake. I like to press the powders in just so that they can melt into my skin. And I just continuously press. And then I'm going to go in on the other side and do the same thing. When it comes to pressing in your powders or baking, it's really just up to you. I went a little too much here, as you guys can see, and I used the bottom of it just to press it in. I feel like whenever I bake or whenever I leave powders on my skin for too long, they kind of give me like a cast, which I hate, which is why I just try to skip it and avoid it altogether. But I always bake everywhere or put powders everywhere that I applied highlighter. Here is what I was most excited about. So this is where the tutorial gets a little crazy. So this was my very first time using the Black Radiance Beauty Contour Palette. So this is their very new palette and it's in the shade dark. Look at how dark it is. I underestimated not only the shade, but again, I used the wrong brush. So this brush was a little more dense than I would typically like to go in with, and it didn't have that taper. So once I started to blend it, it went too high, too low. It kind of went everywhere, and because of that, like, you're going to see what happens in a second, but I just went in and applied my contour on all of the areas of my face that I applied the cream contour from Glamazon Beauty. And this is where the tutorial starts to get a little off, because as you guys can see, first of all, I haven't fully blended where I set my under eye area, my forehead, and my chin, and then the contour product was just... It's not that it's too dark, because it's definitely not. As you see, I'm like, what the heck? Pause. But it's not too dark, but it's more so that some of the contour went a little too low. It kind of went just all over the place, so I had to fix it. I went back in with the redder shade from the Black Radiance Beauty palette. If you watch my favorites, I told you that shade was too red, but I used that to kind of correct underneath my cheekbone area, just because I knew that it wouldn't leave a harsh line. And now I'm just blending all of the shades together without applying any additional product. Oh wait, I lied. Now I'm applying additional products. I'm applying the Maybelline Baby Powder and the shade Dark 40. And I like using that shade in Dark 40 just to kind of blend everything together to make it seamless, because it connects my contour with my highlight and just leaves kind of like a transition. Now, I know you probably like, sis, you looking casket ready. You're looking great. What happened? Unsubscribe. No, because once I apply that powder in Dark 40, that's going to bring back my color. And as you guys see, once I apply my setting spray, I don't stop. I keep going and I drench myself so that all of the powders can melt. And voila, you see my skin coming back to looking like skin. Everything looks blended. And now we're going in with the blush. For the blush, I'm using the Carity Cosmetics Burgundy Blast. And as you guys can see, I'm doing that little, smirk smile in order to get the blush on the high points of my cheek. That's the smile you give when you don't want to give somebody your number. You just want to, walk away safely, since misogyny and like male ego is so violent nowadays. So for my makeup highlighter, I'm using the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter in the shade Molten Topaz. If you are a dark skinned person, you need this highlighter, sis. Like, this highlighter is so bomb, so affordable, and it literally makes your skin, like, it melts into your skin. It makes your skin look like butter. The glow look like it's coming from within, even though it's something you applied on top. When it comes to where I apply my highlighters, I like to put it on the high points of my cheek, my forehead, bridge of my nose, upper lip, all of those areas. And I also like to hit my eyebrows as well, so that when I turn my head, you kind of see the glow all over. And I'm just getting that on both sides. And just like I do with everything else, I don't just put the product on and keep it pushing. Whenever I apply any product, I always go back over it with a brush and I blend over it. So you're going to see me blending out the highlighter just so that it doesn't have any harsh lines. And then I wanted a little bit more of a glow on the higher points of my cheeks, so I just went back in with the same highlighter and just made sure I hit the higher points but nowhere else. Then for my inner corners, I went back into that Perception palette and I took the shade Diva, which is a darker gold, and I put it on my inner corners and I blended it out just so that it wouldn't look so harsh as well. And then I'm going in with my lip liner. This is from the Crayon Case lip set. And this shade is the darkest one. I believe it's called Black, but I'll put it up on the screen just in case. As you see, I was trying to look and see what the name was here. And now I don't have it in my hand. But I applied that lip liner. Then after I apply the lip liner, I'm going to go in with the ColourPop and Ellery lipstick in the shade Hennyways, which is kind of like a brown. It's not as dark as I thought it was, but it was definitely dark enough to get the job done. Then on top of that, I'm going to go in with the satin lip, the matte lip in the shade Kapow. This was probably like my first favorite liquid lipstick from ColourPop. And then I'm just topping it off with Neat Freak, which is a gloss in collaboration with Shayla as well. Don't mind my scarf. I was laying my hair down. And here is the final look. All right, guys, so I hope that you were able to see some of the products that you can use if you are someone of a deeper complexion looking to buy makeup. Make sure you go ahead and enter into my giveaway for the ELF Putty Primer. I am super excited to see if it is a good dupe for the Tatcha Silk Canvas one. Give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Happy Women's History Month. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you next time, which is Friday. Bye.